excited?
Yeah,
I'm so excited for this. I've had some pretty cool guests on this potty, but this is probably I don't know why this is the most excited I've been.
Yeah, it's good.
It's just because I know I'm going to get so many good highlights out of it.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Prime Potty. I am honoured and so excited. I just said I'm probably the most excited for this potty, and I don't know why, but I just am. I got Nick Watson on the potty. Nick, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, good. Thanks yourself.
Mate, I'm very, very well. Now, you're pretty well media trained, aren't you? You've had a few Fox Footy interviews by now?
Yeah. Media trained, so ready to go.
Ready to go. Now, in a bit of an elevator pitch, who would you say you are for the people that don't know you? I'm sure that just about everyone listening to this would have seen some highlights or maybe lowlights of you. But for those that don't know you, who are you?
So I'm Nick Watson. Play at Eastern Rangers for the Coach Talent League and also go to Caulfield Grammar, so played there most of my year. I'm just outgoing person, loves a chat. So
you're too modest, mate. You're too modest. Nick is a human highlight reel. That's my nickname for him. But your nickname is probably officially the Wizard. How did that come about, and where did that come from?
So Cal Toomey, if he's watching this, he would love that. So
Did he come up with that?
He came up with that about 2 years ago. It started off pretty slow, but it's actually starting to get ramping up. Everyone's calling me now. So he would love that, Cal Toomey, if he's watching.
Well, I wasn't sure if it came from yourself or Cal, because I was told that you told Cal to start calling you the Wizard. And then that's how it got out.
Definitely not.
That was just the rumour that I heard, I think, for a few Caulfield boys. So it's good to hear the actual reality of the story. Mate, we're going to start off this podcast with a little bit of an exciting segment. What we're going to be doing is blind ranking a top 5. So last week we had the Marmalade Boys. We blind ranked Chalky Milks. So without knowing what's going to come next, we're not going to do Chalky Milks this week. We're actually going to do something a little bit more exciting. We're going to blind rank your highlights. So without knowing what comes next, I'm going to show you one of your highlights. And if you're watching on the YouTube, this is probably the place to watch it. And I want you to blind rank and tell me where it ranks in the top 5 of your highlights without knowing what comes next. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're starting with number 5?
We'll start with a highlight. I'll give it to you, and I want you to rank it on a 1 to 5. If it's the best highlight you think you've ever had, rank it number 1, but you don't know what's going to come next.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the first one. It's you taking a hanger for the Eastern Rangers. Where do you reckon that ranks top 5 highlights?
Probably 4.
4, really?
Yeah.
4. See, I'm not sure. So you don't know what actually highlights I've got to come up with here. I could have got 4 good ones or 4 bad ones.
Yeah.
So number 4 for that one.
Yeah.
Next up, this is my favourite, and this is the first time I ever saw you. It's Nick going for a barrel from outside 50, maybe 60 metres. You'll tell the kids it was 80 metres.
Yeah.
Where do you
put
rank
a bit of
this?
mayo on it, but probably I'll say 1.
1, yeah.
I'll say 1.
This was an incredible kick. It was actually elite. Next up, we've got Snatched here playing for Vic Metro, I believe.
Yeah. 3. I'll take a risk on it and go 3.
That's a good ranking. I'll take that every day of the week. That's a very good ranking. Next up, we've got a goal against WA. This one, I think, against WA, where you get the ball on the ground, come up, beat a few defenders. Is that 5 or is that rank 2?
Nah, that has to be 2, I
2?
reckon.
Yeah? What do you think's going to be 5th?
It better be something bad.
I was thinking about putting a specific one up, but I'm going to leave it for later in the video.
That's not the best ranking.
So that has to go 5.
That's 5. That's 5.
I do have another highlight of you, but I'm going to leave it for a little bit later. But there you go. That's the top 5 highlights for Watto. So make sure you check that out on the YouTube.
That's hard.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Because you don't know what's coming.
You don't know what I'm going to pick.
I've never done that before.
Did I miss any good ones?
There's a few, but... No, I'm joking.
That's elite. Mate, talk me through a little bit of how you got started. Now, you've got a basketball background, which us in footy absolutely just love because it just improves your athleticism so much. So talk me through your basketball background.
Yeah, so I used to play high-level basketball around under 12s. Was very into that. I sort of liked it more than footy at one stage, but I had to give that up pretty early because they sort of gave me a choice, footy or basketball, and it was a pretty obvious choice. I was probably too small for basketball.
Point guard, obviously.
Had a high-level basketball background when I was younger. Played with a couple of good players like Joel Foxwell, was up and coming basketball players. So Yeah, no, I enjoyed that, but yeah, gave it up pretty early.
Do you think you made the right decision?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I go play basketball now, just casually and shocking at it now. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you've got the athleticism, you've got the agility, that's for sure. Do you still follow the NBA and that a little bit?
Yeah, I'm a Memphis Grizzlies fan. Love Ja Morant.
Ja.
Yeah, not
The
really.
Glock man.
Yeah. Not after that, but loved him before.
Oh no! So you follow Memphis? Anyone else? You're a LeBron fan, Luca fan, anything like that, or
Yeah,
not?
well, I don't really like Luka. I don't know why.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same, to be honest.
I just like. I don't like because he used to say he was better than Ja Morant as well, and I used to hate that. So I always watch LeBron as well. Whatever NBA's on, I love to watch.
I'm a Lakers man, unfortunately, but hopefully they're back next year. I think they struggled a little bit this year with like Russ and everyone. And then they had to do a bit of a clean out, and then they were good to go. Who's your tip for next year to win the chip? Can't be Memphis because you don't have Ja. I think Ja's suspended for like 20, 40 games or something.
Like half the season spewing. Now I'd say I reckon Antetokounmpo will be back. The Bucks.
Bucks. I
reckon,
like it.
Yeah, he'll be hungry to get him back.
That's a very good pick. I don't mind that at all. We've already gone through a bit of your wizard nickname, but your height as well seems to be a massive talking point in so many different aspects. How tall actually are you?
170. I'll claim it.
Is that like when you say 6 foot to girls? Like 5'7"?
Yeah, I'll claim the 170.
Yep.
I get measured 171, 169, but 170 was
170 is a happy medium, I reckon.
I'll take it.
So have you always been small?
Yeah. I knew I was going to be pretty small growing. Like my dad's 6'2", so
really?
Yeah, I always had a bit of hope.
Wow.
So but yeah, I always sort of had a feeling that I'd be the smallest one. So it's when I started to work on my craft and all that. So yeah.
So you knew pretty early probably that you were going to be a small forward, and you even get injected into the midfield a little bit from what I've seen. But how have you kind of relished, I guess, people probably saying or having that knock on you that you are too small? How have you loved proving them wrong?
Yeah, so I've had that basically all my life. Still get it nowadays, even probably worse nowadays. But no, I've just worked on the controllables. Like you can't control your height. You can only do what you can do like out in the field. And I love when the footy does the talking. So I just don't really listen to it as much. Still got a lot of people saying like you're too small to play AFL. But I just love proving them wrong, doing what I do out in the field. Probably see some videos where I'm a bit argy-bargy on the field, like to get up there.
Get a bit argy-bargy.
Yeah, I do.
You do.
I love it.
I saw one highlight of you the other day. I think you kicked a goal and then you went back and patted your opponent on the knee.
I did.
Which I thought was hilarious. But you do get a bit argy-bargy, and I have no problem with that. That's the same way I like to go about it.
I love it.
Is that usually started from your opponent? Actually, you probably off camera don't see it, but they're usually the one that starts it, aren't they?
Yeah. Like especially this year with school footy, everyone's just been wanting to smash me. I've just been getting smashed every week. So even like the crowds are just talking. Like I remember round 1 against Geelong Grammar down in Geelong, I was just like not expecting a crowd to be there because it's like we're probably going to win by 100 points.
Yeah.
So and then they just come out and all their supporters just been ferals. Like it was shocking. Like I think our school made a complaint. Like it was just every time I touched the ball, like they would just be spraying me, saying what I did wrong. I got tackled once and they acted like they won the grand final. So it's just they've just been always trying to, and I just sort of go back after I kick a goal. I make sure I go back at whoever was talking smack.
Do you find it difficult when you're out in the field that kind of happens, and how do you really kind of respond to it? I guess more in your mind.
Yeah. I sort of like get once I kick one goal and I go at him, I sort of just get momentum and
sometimes it just needs that one thing that just starts the dice to roll, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and then once the dice starts rolling, you're right.
Yeah, that's what happens with especially school footy when the crowd's talking as well. Once I start to get going, I just relish off it and just love it.
I love
every bit of it.
I love watching you go about it, man. It's just cracking to see. School footy this year was incredible. School footy last year was also incredible. We'll start on that first. You ended up in a drawn APS grand final, and that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I remember watching your first game, or the first game that I watched you was against Xavier, I believe, and that was a pretty incredible spectacle. I think you finished with 3 or 4 that day as well.
Yeah, I actually can't remember.
Yeah,
Something
you
like
remember.
that.
Don't lie. But then you get to the grand final, and what happened there? Talk me through that experience.
Yeah, so everyone thought would go in, win pretty comfortably because we had a stacked squad.
Yeah, your team was cracked last year.
And everyone thought we'd just go in, and we jumped them early as well. We started really well, and we were up by like 40 odd, I think. And us boys were saying at halftime, like, we just need to get through these next 5 minutes, and I reckon we've got it. Like, and like everyone was saying to us, like, I don't think the Brighton boys had much hope. Like, they didn't think in their rooms, apparently, that they didn't like think they had it.
So what were you up by at half-time? 40 or something?
Not, around 40. I don't know the exact margin.
But it was a fair bit, wasn't it?
It was 6 or 7 goals.
Yeah.
And then they came out and they had a big crowd obviously behind them, and ours sort of went quiet, which didn't help. But they were just like, they had this momentum that no one could stop. It was just like ridiculous. Even it was like 3 goals at 3/4 time, but then we had the wind in the last. And they were still kicking goals against the wind, and it was just like, it was, I'd never seen anything like that momentum, and it was spewing that we drawed, but take the win.
You can't. Yeah, I guess like you end up sharing the cup. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Or did they give it to one?
Nah, we shared it, but I actually don't know who took that home.
Yeah, neither. I remember kind of seeing it all over social media, and it was a crazy time because it was like, how can you draw? Like, did you want to see that go to OT?
Yeah, the scenes after the game was like, there was a massive crowd, the biggest crowd I played in. The scenes after the game, everyone ran on and like started celebrating, and then there was like talks between the umpire and like the principals and all that saying, do we do time on? Because APS have never done time, because it's not finals, so they've never done time on.
Of course.
So yeah, they just sort of came to an agreement. There's no time on. So everyone started actually, because everyone thought there was time on, so everyone started running off, and then they all run back on again. So it was just all over. I was getting like,
what was going on in your head? Were you like, I need to play time on? Like, we need to see.
I sort of wanted time on, but like there was some boys out there with the gassed, and they was like, let's just finish it here. We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take the draw. Because were you a bit nervous that because they were coming home with a wet sail that they might just take it home?
Yeah, I was very nervous. That's what I was considering when I was thinking about it. But like, there's so much things going on. I just like I was in the Brighton 50 in the like when the siren went, and they all just trembling over me, and I was on the ground. It was just ridiculous.
Was there a bit of push and shove after the game, like from supporters or anything, or was it kind of pretty chill?
Nah. There was actually one good bloke who like sort of went up because they were all running all over me, and I don't think any of them saw me on the ground. So there was one good bloke, I don't know who he was, but like sort of moved, like helped me up, and then make sure. Yeah, shout out to him.
Was he a supporter or was he?
Brighton. It was
really?
Brighton supporter. He sort of like helped me up, and then like made sure no one like hit me or anything.
Bro, shout out to that guy. I know he's probably listening because he's a massive fan. That's actually elite.
Yeah,
what
it was good.
Bloke.
But
you didn't even say. Did you say thanks? Or
I
sort of get the fuck away from me.
I just said thanks and walked off.
Mate, that was an incredibly crazy time, and then obviously you probably go through a pretty big pre-season and focus on getting the chocolates this year.
Yeah.
You started really, really strongly. Talk me through the kind of start of your season this year with school footy.
Yeah, so we started pretty strong, and we were like, there was 2 main teams, us and Harrowbury, who were going in as clear favourites, and we played each other second last round. So we're beating teams by like the same margin, 100 points.
Yeah.
And we were playing each other second last round, which shaped up to be another grand final I got to play in, which was pretty handy. And
how does that always happen? The two
I don't know.
teams.
It's just pure luck.
What is the go with that? That's happened 2 years in a row. It's an incredible coincidence.
And I've been lucky enough to play in both of them, which is us. Every kid wants to play in them.
Incredible.
So, it was another massive turnout again. Probably not as big as the Brighton game, but it was still.
How many people do you reckon?
Oh, I actually don't know.
10,000?
Yeah, I'd say close to 5,000. Yeah,
it's an incredible amount of people. 5,000 doesn't sound like a lot to people that watch AFL because they think of 100,000. But like, you got to remember that these people are all on a level surface pretty much, and 5,000 is a lot of people.
Yeah, it was heaps. Like, it made it look like it was just a packed MCG, but it was just a local ground.
Literally.
But so I got to play in another one against Harrowbury, and that was. We thought we had it most of the game, to be honest. Again, and then so there was a shocking wind at this ground. It was the worst wind ever. It was like a 5-goal breeze, and then we had it most of the game, and they had this momentum in the last. Some bloke named Mitchell Kirks. He might be watching this, but I'll shout him out.
Definitely listening. Shout out to him.
He's launched. You've probably seen it. He's launched one from about 60 odd meters with the wind, and it just carried in. And that was to get him in front. And then they had the wind in the. Up by 3 goals at 3/4 time, and then they had the wind in the last, and he kicked that goal, and then they just ran over us from there. So 2 years in a row, but we half won it 1 year.
All right, school footy grand finals. They're incredibly crazy. Like you said, you unfortunately just got beat at the end of the last one. I don't know if you actually saw the uproar that happened, because I think that Matthew Lloyd went back to have a few beers with some of the students and some of the parents. Did you see that in the Herald Sun?
That was everywhere, actually. Because I'm friends with a couple of Hailbury boys, so I sort of found that out straight away. They kept it very, very private. They didn't really tell me what was going on, obviously, because they were trying to be
How did it get to the Herald Sun?
I don't know. I think because Matthew Lloyd was involved, so it ramped up a bit. So
what do you reckon about that? No, I don't know if you're allowed to comment, but you win a grand final. Surely you're allowed to go back and have a beer.
Yeah. We've always done that. We've always had the coaches come back and have a few beers. And they're just enjoying it with the kids.
But if you're over 18, obviously, you're allowed to. But if you're under 18, then obviously you don't have beers. But it's just, I just thought it was a weird thing. You celebrate a win, and you just enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna invite our coaches to the after party, our after party, but that we obviously didn't because of the Matthew.
But then you just get I guess you just got to keep it quiet. You just got to be smart as well. You got to keep it quiet. Can't be posting snap stories.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened. Everyone was just posting everything and just got out of control.
That's the thing. Yeah. Did you didn't get the cup at the end of last year though? Did you? Do you remember getting the cup?
I actually can't remember.
I remember.
I think we might have taken it at the start. Yeah. And then we had to give it back.
But I was lucky enough to win a school footy grand final at Hale in Western Australia. And after that, most of us were over 18, and obviously the over 18s went back. And you know what? Actually, I'm just going to be honest. Also, the under 18s went back, and we all had beers. So I'm trying to be politically correct on this podcast, but no, fuck that. I'm actually going to tell you exactly what happened. So we all had won the bloody thing. I'm not in school anymore, so I can't get expelled. But we all went back and we got the cup and we all drink out of the cup. We think that we're freaking, I don't know, Matthew Lloyd when he won the flag, or we thought we were Ben Cousins, but we'd all go back, have a beer. The coaches had come around as well, but I think we were a bit smarter those days and not posting things on social media. Do you find that difficult now for you? I guess you're going down that pathway of, a lot of people are watching what you do. Are you nervous that what you post on social media could come back to bite you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with my social media. I like what I post, and I know what to post and what not to. It's more like when you go out and people trying to video you drinking and doing all that.
Yes.
That's what that's what you got to be careful of, and that's what I'm pretty careful of when I do go out every now and then.
Yeah, I was out a few weekends ago at the Osborne, and I was filming just the TV, and then I panned around to kind of everyone that was watching, and Nick Dacos was standing next to me. And he comes straight up to me and he was like, mate, delete that straight away. And I was like, mate, I'm not going to post it anyway. I deleted it straight away. But you've got to be, unfortunately, and I do the same thing to sometimes people when they're like, can we take a photo? I'm like, not tonight, mate. I had a few too many beers, so we can't do it. But you've got to be very careful with what goes out there, don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, there's obviously school footy, there's the social media stuff, there's Baseline Footy, who we love. Shout out to Baseline. Yeah. And there's what's connected to social media, which what I see a lot of is generally positive about you, but then you also get a lot of stick. And it's actually pretty disgraceful. I messaged you probably a month or two ago when I saw you guys unfortunately got done in the grand final. And I went to the comments and it was all tagging you saying, nice L, lost. How do you go as a young man dealing with that kind of social media backlash?
Yeah, so I've copped a fair bit over the last 2 years, and it's sort of just come off how I sort of when I started to get argy-bargy on the field, and people don't like that, and all the vids that get posted as well. So and some of it's because of my height. People, I don't know why they just hate on me for being who I am at 170. After that, 170. After that grand final, that was weird. I was driving home and I was pretty flat, and I got home and my phone started buzzing. I was like, oh, what's going on here? And I just tag in this, tag in that, nice L, cop that. I was like, what did I did one thing that game that like stirred him up a bit. I did
but you leave it on the field, you know, like I don't know. That's footy at the end of the day. Like I don't know. Were you getting DMs as well?
Yeah, a few DMs. Fake accounts, so all fake accounts.
Always fake accounts.
So I was just getting. I was just put my phone on do not disturb and just put it away because I was just trying to have a good night because we ended up like doing something that night because we were all pretty flat and we didn't want to sit at home. So
of course, that's good.
Yeah, so that was weird. Like it just started buzzing and I was like, I'm not the only player in the team. Like
of course.
And like I only did one thing to stir him up, but like I wasn't being like a dickhead on the field or anything. Like I wasn't trying to start fights or anything. They just probably weren't happy. I don't know if you saw it. I kicked it going. I sort of went.
I did see it, and then I saw and then I was following the whole game, and saw the backlash, and I thought it's similar to the stuff that I cop, so I could straight away see, and it doesn't necessarily extremely affect me. Like it's not something that I go to sleep every night like this guy user 967 doesn't like me, like I don't care that much. But I am also 23 now. I mean, if I had to cop that when I was 18, 19, I would really, really find it difficult. So it's, I guess it's important that you've got good people around you.
Yeah, good people around me. They support me well. And it's I copped it pretty early last year as well when I started to get a bit of media attention. That was sort of a good learning curve, and now it just doesn't bother me.
Doesn't bother you at all?
Got to have to get used to it.
That's bloody good. And look, unfortunately, I mean, again, like with what I do, I post stuff on social media, and it's like, and I do things on the field, and it's like, sometimes you're going to have to cop it when they give it back to you. There's like, if you don't want to cop it, then don't give anything.
Yeah, that's
just
exactly
shut up.
right.
But I think that the issue that I do have is when it comes over the line of DMing and death threats and these kind of things. It's that it gets a bit too far. So I'm glad to hear that you're happy and you're dealing with it.
I deal with it fine. Doesn't bother me.
Buddy,
sometimes I just laugh at it.
Yeah, you do, don't you? You laugh at it. Gee, you're going through a tough time, buddy. Oh, that's why I love having you on the potty. Talk me through a little bit of the Eastern Rangers stuff because you've been there for a couple of years now and you've just been dominating. Yeah,
so started there when I was pretty young under Travis Cloak. It was under 19s back then because of the COVID year, and I was playing. I got to play a game with my brother as well, which was pretty good.
Awesome.
And I was pretty close with Tyler Sonsi and Jake Saligo, so I got to play with them, which was good. I was only just turned 16, so
wow.
Yeah, that was a good experience. I played 3 or 4 games there, then it got obviously cut short because of COVID hit back again. So, but that was a good experience. I was pretty young, and Trav was giving me as much opportunity as I could get. Playing, I even got a late run in the mid, which was good.
Elite.
I was only a little tacker as well.
Not much has changed, mate. Who for you do you think's been one of your best mentors and people that have really put you on the right pathway throughout this process?
Yeah, so Nick Geish, my manager, he's been awesome for me. So Tyler Sonsi and Saligo with him pretty early, so I got to know him when I was young as well. So I latched onto him pretty quick, and he's taught me a lot, and obviously my parents and family. Saligo and Sonsi, who were they were at my house every day when they're free, so because they're good mates with my older brother, so went to school with them as well. So so it's been those people that have been around me. Just everyone's chipped in and helped me all along the way.
That's amazing. And have they given you a bit of advice for what's going to happen, hopefully at the next level?
And
how to probably adapt to it as well?
Yeah, so having Sonsi and Saligo who are in the system already, so they tell me a fair bit on what happens at the next level.
You're probably pretty prepared for it anyway with the Eastern Rangers stuff and probably the Vic Metro stuff as well.
And I've trained at Hawthorn for the last 2 years, so that's given me a good indication for what it's like, and trained there for 2 weeks. So I know what it's like as an AFL player in the day-to-day basis. So I know what's expected of it, and I'm just keen to get into it.
Elite. Do you reckon Finn McGuinness could lock you down?
Yeah. He's running a 5:52K, no way.
Mate, I did a training session with him last year. We did a pre-season training session together, and we started off doing 30-metre sprints, and I had him in the 30-metre sprint, and I was elite. And then we're doing 140-metre runs, so we're doing 140 metres, 10 sets, and he was probably 30, 40 meters in front of anyone else. Like, and I was like, I tried to keep up with him for like the first 2, and then the next 8, I was at the back. He was rapid.
Mate, I don't know how he does it.
He's rapid,
Yeah,
like
it's just-
so fit. And an absolute rule as well. So shout out to Finn, because we know he's a big fan of the potty. But yeah, so let's quickly talk about your state champs this year, because I think that was probably the time that you not only, probably again, second year in a row, that you really cemented yourself as one of the most exciting prospects in this year's draft crop.
Yeah, so we had a good crop this year. I obviously played it last year as well with like all the Will Ashcrofts and Harry Sheasel. So that was a good experience. Got 3 games in there. And I was sort of playing with Harry Sheasel down forward. So learned a lot off him. And that was a good like learning curve for me coming into this year, knowing what to expect. And we had a good crop. It wasn't as strong. We obviously didn't win it. Allies were way too good this year.
They were very strong this year.
That was ridiculous.
Incredible.
Yeah,
it was good to see, actually.
Yeah,
I was glad to see
don't mind them winning as long as it's not Vic Country.
Yeah.
We had a good crop this year and played that deep forward role. Got onto a few, which was good. Had a decent carnival overall.
Who am I allowed to ask? Which club's the most interested in you? Or am I not allowed to ask that?
I actually don't know though.
I knew he was media trained. Good man. No, that's a great answer. Could you give me your top 5?
What clubs that I want to go to, or
top 5 you want to go to? Would you love to stay in Melbourne?
Yeah, Melbourne. Yeah, like I don't mind where I go, but like in the Melbourne clubs like Hawthorn, because I've trained there obviously, and I know a couple of boys. Collingwood, because I'm a Pies man.
Yes, very good.
I love Melbourne, Cozzy Pickett.
It'd be exciting forward line, wouldn't it? You and Cozzy buzzing around. Gee whiz, the highlight machines.
Then North Melbourne, because I got a couple of mates there, fair few mates there, and who else? We'll go with Adelaide.
Ooh, nice.
Don't mind Adelaide.
SA would be a very...
Yeah.
Not Port?
Port's alright. I don't actually. I underestimated Adelaide's and Port Adelaide's fan bases.
Huge.
On the Friday nights and Saturday nights game, it's ridiculous. I didn't know it was that big. So
crazy. And it's actually, WA is just as big when they're playing well.
Yeah.
When they're not playing well, no one comes
West
to the
Coast,
game.
jeez.
Gee whiz. I'm not going to ask that question. Oh, no, it's very good. Ladies and gents, make sure you jump onto the Prime Train website before we get into the next section. You guys can use the code podcast to get 20% off anything on the website. We've got the SUPs, which we just restocked. We've got new Prime Unwind hoodies coming in the next couple of weeks as well, which is super exciting. You can pick up any of the training programs there as well. Make sure you jump onto that and use the code podcast for 20% off. All right, you ready for some Q&A?
This could be dodgy.
This could go anywhere, couldn't it? Mate, welcome to the Q&A segment. We're going to give you an Alive. This is a segment brought to you by Alive. What flavour would you like? We've got pink grapefruit here, and we've also got lemon lime bitters.
I'd rather pink grapefruit.
Pink grapefruit.
Looks
Love
good.
it. Very fruity from you, my friend. Very fruity. We'll have a slice of these. Cheers, mate.
Spill it anyway. Hang on.
Yeah, do you want me to do it?
I got it.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Beautiful. Here we go.
That's good.
Refreshing?
Yeah, it tastes exactly like just any type of soft drink.
Well, that's good because there's actually no sugar. It's got 1 billion probiotics in it as well. So plenty of probiotics, which is very, very good for your gut health, and the no sugar, which is just going to be good for your general overall health. Ladies and gents, we're into a Q&A. We've got 6 good Q&As here from the people. I love this section. It's just makes my goddamn day when people... I reckon this was one of the most amount of questions I've had. So people were very interested in
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I had to filter out a lot, mate. I had to filter out a lot. All right, we're going to start with Hamish Mansell. Would you recommend APS Footy and would you recommend Caulfield?
Yeah, 100%. That move that I made was the best decision I reckon I made. It was a hard decision, but...
what move was the move that you made?
So, from Rowville to Caulfield.
Okay.
I started off from year 7 to year 10 at Rowville and had all my best mates there. And then, got the offer from Caulfield and it was like a 4-month process. Took me a while to, I was back and forth. I want to stay, I want to go. But then, that was the best move I've made. I loved it ever since and don't regret that decision. Right now, Coach League have that many breaks. It's ridiculous. They're so off and on. So school footy's the best for it. And if you love the big crowds, and it's just culture footy. Like it's so many rival games, and it's just so fun to play.
You
like,
find your best mates as well, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. Like the mates that you build like through footy is just unbelievable and unforgetting.
Do you feel, this might be a bad question, do you feel like you're probably, fair enough though, because I always felt like this, do you feel that you have a closer bond with those school footy mates, probably because you go to school with them every single day and you play footy with them? It's probably the closest bond you'll ever feel apart from a professional environment with any team that you ever play for.
Yeah, 100%. Because me going to the school and not knowing anyone, the bonds that I created was like close as, and like I still talk to them even the footy season's done. Because we have 2 campuses, so
yes, that's right.
This last year was mainly from my campus, Wheelers Hill campus, but then this year the squad was mainly Caulfield campus. So I get along with them all pretty well, and it only took me 6 months to get like really close to them. So it's always a cool bunch with Caulfield. It's always like rivalry, so like everyone's like on one side, and it's what was his question? Like,
would you recommend APS footy?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, there's so many breaks in Coates if you're playing Coates League, so I'd recommend it 100%.
You felt like they welcomed you with open arms, Caulfield?
Yeah,
like
100%.
you didn't have much backlash or anything?
Yeah, nah. They protected me all the way, and especially with the school side of it as well, because I know they're pretty like academic wise. So
Would you say you're academic?
Nah. It just didn't come naturally for me.
Oh, maybe. But footy does come naturally. So
I used to be good
in
primary school, but then once I hit Roval and it wasn't like very academic there, so it sort of went downhill.
That was the same with me. I got to like primary school. I was like, it wasn't cool to be smart. So I like stopped like trying. And then when I got to Hale, it was cool to be smart and like good at footy. So I was like, shit, I actually really have to try. So I grinded to get smart.
Yeah, I was trying. Then I was like, mate, this is that hard. Like, I didn't give up. I was just dumb. Like, everyone was so smart at Caulfield, and because Caulfield's like their ATAR's 93, like average. It's ridiculous. And I was like, nah, this is just, especially coming from Roval as well, and the average is probably not the greatest. So.
Shout out to Roval.
Yeah.
Max Korfman asks, is it true you told Cal Toomey to refer to you as the Wizard?
No, it is not. Max, I know who that is. So.
He had a few. I think he was the one that...
Yeah, he would have spanned it. Mate, he's shocking. He's a Caulfield boy as well. No, it is not. He came up with that, and Cal's pretty happy with it as well. So
it's going to stick as well, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, as I said before, it started off pretty slow, but it's starting to ramp up now. Like, everyone call me the Wizard now.
I like it. They're just the Wiz. I'm still sticking with the human highlight reel. That's what I'm rocking with. I love that nickname. That's what I reckon. Liam Dugan asks, what is your go-to pre-game meal?
Depending what like time the game is, brekkies normally just wheat bix and banana and honey.
Dinner before?
Pasta.
Yeah. Spag bog?
Yeah. I'm a massive pasta man. So so pasta, and then wake up, banana, wheat bix and honey, and then lunch, if I need lunch, if it's an early game, I don't normally have lunch. I normally have a banana before the game. But if it's lunch, I normally have like a chicken schnitzel roll or something.
Ooh.
So
get out of town. I love a Subway before a game.
Yeah,
Mitchie
Subway.
Rees asks, tips for small blokes playing small forward or in the mids?
So if you're like predominantly small forward, just work on your controllables. Like, don't worry about your height if you are small. To crafts mainly. What I worked on big time was my 1v1 craft, which has helped me a lot over the last couple of years. So, and just like be like crafty, be variety of different kicks. Make sure you know where the goals are at all times.
Very good. Left and right. You're always good on your left foot snap, right foot snap.
Yeah. Tackle pressure is also a big one as well, especially when you hit the AFL system. They're really big on the small forwards tackling.
Do you find that opposition teams struggle to match up on you because you are that small forward and you're so agile and athletic that they don't really know whether to put a tall or a small kind of on you?
Yeah.
Well, you're good aerially as well.
I normally find it an advantage when they're taller because I feel like I'm predominantly more like agile and faster than them. So, I find it an advantage when I do get a taller match up on me, and I sort of say to my teammates, don't kick it on my head. That's all.
Yeah, just put it to ground, and I'll do the rest.
Yeah. So I find it easier when I get a taller player.
Is that your favourite position, deep forward?
Yeah,
forward?
yeah. I used to be a midfielder in local days, but when I sort of progressed into metro.
Is that what you want to be when you progress, or do you want to stay as that small?
Yeah, small forward. Hopefully I get into midfield every now and then. Yeah, but predominantly small forward.
Very good. All right, we've got 2 more Q&As. First one from Jimmy Blake. And I like this one because I think that this personifies the kind of character that you are. What is the biggest challenge that you have faced, and how have you responded from it? You might not have one yet, but we all face them eventually.
The biggest challenge was moving schools. That was huge because Rover was good as to me, and under Darren Buick as well. He taught me all my craft and everything.
Old Essendon man.
Yeah. And obviously I had all my best mates there, but to make that move was probably one of the biggest challenge. And another big challenge was facing all that media hate when it first started. That's when I'm used to it now, but when it first started, it was a big challenge. I didn't really talk to anyone because I was just so what? But then it all hit me at once, and then
wow. Yeah. Mentally, did you struggle a bit with it at the start?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
Yeah, so I thought I had to perform every game, because all that media that I was getting. I thought I had to have to perform every game, and if I had a bad game, it was the end of the world. But then I started talking to everyone, and it was okay to have a bad game. It sort of sunk into my head. So, facing all that media first up was pretty hard. Because I was only a young pup as well.
Of course. Oh, mate, it's difficult. Like I said before, when I was younger and have to go through that, it's difficult. So kudos to you for kind of going through it. Now, last one from Matthew Foley. Best player that you've played with, and toughest defender you've played against?
Played with probably...
You've got a lot of names to think about here, don't you? You don't want a dog. You can only pick one.
Wait. One.
Best player you've played with.
Over the last couple of years?
Yep.
You're going to have to go Ashcroft, can't you?
Love it. Great answer. You can't be wrong.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. And then what was the other one?
Toughest defender. Who's been your kryptonite?
This is an underrated one. Well, he's not underrated because he did really well on me. But last year in the Vic Metro, Vic Country game at the end of the year, it was a bloke named Cooper Vickery.
Okay.
He's fast, strong, agile, and he was probably the hardest I've ever played on, and that was last year. Sorry, that's
right. Got me as well before. I was trying to hide him, but I don't have to talk as much as you do. So I was. Cooper Vickery, he was really good, and I've learned a lot off him now. I know, sort of if we played against each other now, I know what to do. You get him now.
Hopefully. But he got drafted to the Sydney Swans at I can't remember, pick 28 or something, must have been around then. But I didn't mind him, he was good.
Very good. So we'll know when you play against Sydney that they're going to have to bring in
Cooper Vickery.
Lastly, just to finish us off, can you give us a top 5 of who you think is going to go top 5 this year in the draft, and leave yourself out of it?
Yeah.
We won't have to worry about that for now.
So obviously Harley Reid number 1.
Yep.
Walter number 2.
Mm-hmm. Now I think Nick's going to go 3, so just put that on the
Daniel Curtin number 3. Do you know him?
Yes.
WA.
Good, yes.
Colby McKercher number 4.
Yep.
And Zane Dersman number 5.
I like Curtin in there. That's a really good one.
Yeah, I reckon he's a good utility. You can play anywhere.
Play anywhere. Very good. Nick, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the potty, mate. I was so excited for this, and I know why, because I don't know, I just find that we have a lot of similarities in many things, and I just love the way you go about it, and I think you've got such a bright future, and you've got a very mature head on your shoulders as well. So I can only see you going one direction, and that direction is in a positive linear state, I reckon. So, mate, congrats. And where can we find you if we want to find you on social media or anywhere else?
Just Nick Watson. Nick Watson 1, with a couple of N's.
I always try to tag you in things. I always tag the wrong Nick Watson.
Because I changed my profile.
I used to be a smiley face.
Yeah,
and then someone else has a fucking smiley face now. So.
Yeah, mate, that many people had it, so I stuff this, I'm changing it.
It's like a black photo.
Yeah, just a black. I didn't know what to do. I was like, it was a big thing changing my profile.
I can't bloody find you. I have to put in 3 N's and a 1. And I don't know if your name's Nick with a C or a CK because I see it sometimes with a C and then sometimes with a CK.
Yeah,
your full name's Nicholas, isn't it?
Yeah, Nicholas, but we don't say that.
You don't say Nicholas. Right? It's only your mum calls you that.
When I'm in trouble.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll see you very soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, Buddy Bet customers, this Friday we have the 10K mega jackpot. All you need to do is guess correctly who's going to have the most disposals. All you have to do is click the link, log into your account, and then click the promotional banner. Provide 2 tips, and if less users have your tip, then you're going to win a bigger share of the payout. BuddyBet has a range of jackpots on AFL, NRL, and many other sports. Log into your account and click the promotional banner. What are you really gambling with? For free confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.